First on my right is Richard, from the Wham. We then have Coogie from the Wham as well, and then Greybeard at the end. And let me just ask the guys to introduce themselves a wee bit more. If I could start with Richard, if you could just grab the mic. Who are you, and what system do you normally use?
My name's Richard. I use primarily a vinyl and valve system, a well-tempered turntable, a very old and odd preamplifier, a Chinese-made 845 tube amplifier, and living voice speakers.
Right, thank you. Coogie?
Very similar and sad, actually. Vinyl and valves. Yeah, we must have had a zest together. No, it was Nottingham Analog Deck. So I had various ones throughout the years. I'm on Ming Da valve stuff at the minute, but revalve, and Darley Helicon speakers. So.
And Greybeard?
Hi, I'm Colin. Yeah, my system at home, I've got two systems, to be honest. So I've got one valve system, which is a Unison Research 845, along with a Technics 1210, and I have some Tannoy Cheviot speakers on that system. And the system I brought to the show today is an active crossover, homemade speakers, along with Behringer A500 Pro amps. And I've got a Oppo Sonica DAC, the latest one, using PC basically through that. So, and it's sounding quite nice if you'd like to come and listen.
Well, thanks, guys. If we can leave the mic with Greybeard, what sort of music, what type of music are you into, and how does your hi-fi allow you to hear that better?
Well, I think as I've got better hi-fi, I think I've gone over to listen to a lot more jazz, I have to say, lately, because it does make the system sound good. I've got a very eclectic taste. I do like rock music. I don't like much prog. I don't like rap, I must admit, although I do like a lot of electronica, hence the yellow t-shirt. So yeah, basically quite an eclectic taste. The system, I think the active crossover system I've got now has improved the speaker side of things no end. It's got a lot more grip and punch, I find, with that. So that's probably the biggest upgrade I've ever made as well. Yeah.
Okay, and Coogie for yourself.
Basically any type of music apart from rap. I think you're right with that one. Even a bit of classical, to be fair. Massively 70s, 80s, so yellow rock. Even into 80s, up Duran Duran stuff, all that, ABC. So a lot of that. But basically, it probably took me 20 years to get me set up right. To get there where you think you want to be. I'm nearly there now, I think. I don't think you're ever there, are you? But you're nearly there. And you change something, or here's something at a show like this and think, actually, I'll do something different.
Rabsky?
Very much the same. I think everybody in this hobby's got incredibly wide music tastes. It's what brings us into the hobby in the first place. And with me, classical, I'm afraid I do like a bit of 70s prog stuff, but that's my age showing. Plenty of rock music, I mean everything basically except country and western. And as for how it makes it sound, well, the better the recording is, the better the system makes it sound. But with decent recordings, it's just nice to be able to hear the music as you want to listen to it.
Okay, and I mean, obviously two of you have got vinyl and valves. I mean, what made you choose that? What is it about vinyl and valves, which is very old or can be old-fashioned? But what is it about it that makes you think, yeah, this is for me?
Well, I grew up with it. There was no such thing as digital when I started collecting music. So, and I've got something like, I think, 1,500 LPs. So really, it would be ridiculous not to have a primarily vinyl-based system.
Coogie?
Yeah, similar. Obviously, from 70s, from buying vinyl when I was still at school, never stopped. So always carried on. But I think for me, with valves, it's tunable. You can change it, swap valves. You can always tinker with things. Whereas with some of the solid-state stuff, you're struggling with that, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with valves. I think that you say the swap tube rolling is always a bit of fun, but yeah, I think it also looks nice at night, doesn't it, when it's all lit up, and it helps keep the heating costs down. But no, I think it's euphonic valves. If you want distortion a little bit, but it's harmonic distortion that I think we all like. Vinyl, likewise, I've got a lot of albums. I wouldn't like to say how many, but probably around 3,000, I think. But so I do play quite a lot of vinyl at home, although here I'm just totally digital. So, but the new, I don't know, some of the new DACs I think nowadays are superb, and I think I'm enjoying my digital side of things nearly as much as the vinyl these days, I have to say.
What made you choose to build an active system with solid state?
Our Serge, he told me to do it.
Sorry, mate, could you hold the mic a little bit closer?
Sorry, yeah. Serge has been going on for ages for people to say that, you need to go active. It's the biggest improvement you'll ever make on a pair of speakers. And so I built these latest ones and put a passive crossover in it. But unfortunately, it wasn't very successful. It sounded bright and horrible to my ears. So I had a few PMs with Serge, and he said, well, look, this is what you want to do. So he gave me the advice and what to buy. And he was right. It's been brilliant. It's been a long learning curve, setting it up, I must say. But yeah, it's been thoroughly enjoyable. And,
Okay, I mean, it's great to hear that, there's a great community there.
yeah.
And if people do want to try something out or hear via Vinyl and Valves, I think come along to the show and hear things probably that they wouldn't hear at any other show, which sort of leads me to the final question and that's what attracts you to Scalford? And if you do go to any other shows, how does it compare to them?
Oh, it's totally different, isn't it? It's normally, well, this is the first year we've had some trade shows, obviously, but normally it's been, the last few years, it's been members only. And it's just been just a great camaraderie. It's great fun. We all enjoy it. Just camaraderie. I love coming. I see these guys once a year, but it's great. We just get on great when we come here, and it's great fun. Have a few beers, share some food, and a few beers, all right. And it's, I think the whole ethos of it has just been, it's been great. And I look forward to it. From the moment it stops, I start looking forward to next year's show. Yeah, do, really do. Yeah.
Thank you. Very similar, obviously, because I've done both. So I think I've exhibited 3 times and probably visited 4 times. So I've been both sides. So sometimes I just like to come and get around all the other rooms and have a listen and talk and chat. And sometimes it's nice just to have, like I've done today, bring your own kit and people come in and ask you questions. And sometimes you'll see things that shouldn't work, but they do. Because people have tried it, and then you come and listen, wow. And I always walk away from here buying some new records. Because you go in somebody's room and think, that's really good, I'll get that. And I think it's really good. It's all, and people do take the time to talk to you. I'm sure we all do in our rooms, but as soon as somebody walks through the door, hello, how are you? It's that conversation just doesn't happen at normal shows, does it? As soon as you sit down, somebody's trying to sell you something or pressure you. So it's very, very different. And because it is enthusiastic, it works for me.
Yeah, absolutely the same. It's people with a common hobby, which is always nice anyway, because people are coming from the same place you are. Although having said that, asked me yesterday afternoon why I was doing it, carrying a 48 kilogram amplifier up the stairs, and I might have had a different answer, and I probably will at 6 o'clock this evening as well. But no, I do the same as you. I try and do a year on, year off. So I'll exhibit one year and then just visit the next, because you don't get a lot of time to get around and see things when you're exhibiting. But it's the social thing, it's the crack. The Saturday night for the exhibitors is always good. So I've been reliably informed. No, that's it. It's like a big club. I go to some of the professional shows, and some of them are interesting. It's nice to see new stuff that's around. But to be honest, I think a lot of the systems here actually sound better than a lot of the professional systems, because for most of the time with the pro stuff, people have got their specific brands that they deal with, so they've got to put together not necessarily the things that sound the best together, but the things that they sell. And we don't have that disadvantage.
And finally, just a quick chair's comment on that. I think the other advantage I find of this show is you take your own music. And one of the first questions I always get asked when I go in a room, have you got a CD you want to play? You don't get that at professional shows. And sometimes you understand it and other times not. So really, thanks very much, guys. I know you've got, your rooms to look after, and I don't want to keep you away from that. So if people want to hear Rabsky's system, that's it up in the Simpson room?
Yes.
You're in?
Yes.
Yes. Coogie's in Syndicate 22, and Greybeard is in room 205. So please go along, have a listen, and let the guys know what you think. And can I thank the guys for turning up and giving up a bit of their time? I know they've come away from their rooms to do that, but thanks very much for doing that. And thank you, guys, as well.